We're now joined by Corey Lorky with the Camdenton Memorial Lake Regional Airport. And Corey, a good friend of mine, good friend of a lot of your guys here in the Lake of the Ozarks community. And of course, you're with the airport out there in Camdenton. And we're here to talk about the air show. It's back. I know everyone's excited. So what can people expect at this year's Lake of the Ozarks air show, Corey?
We are excited about it. It's turned into more than a one-day event almost. We're starting Thursday. We got the traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall coming. And for those of you, 2020 we had it. It's going to be the same thing. It's actually going to start in Osage Beach. We're going to parade it down, and it'll be set up and opened up for the public at an opening ceremony at 6:30 on Thursday evening. That is September 8th.
That's awesome.
And then on September 9th, the wall will be there available for viewing all day long. We're also going to have our B-25 will be in town giving some of our veterans rides, hopefully Vietnam and World War II. So if you want to come out and see the B-25 and just thank our veterans, it's a great day for that. So.
And it's really the theme this year, correct, is Operation Welcome Home, and it's a salute to the Vietnam veterans, and we're celebrating 45 years since the war ended. Now, for someone who's seen that wall, talk a little bit about that experience, because until you see it, you don't really get the full impact. So what can people expect if they've not seen that?
You know, for me, just seeing it the first time last year, and I didn't know what to expect, and it kind of took your breath away. You're sitting there looking, and the airport I thought was a great setting. I mean, not only you got the wall, the veterans, you got the warbirds usually in the background, and it's just, I mean, it brought a lot of people to tears, to be honest, and a lot of people, and will be either a junior ROTC or some veterans organizations will be there to assist finding names. And you know, and I've even talked to a few people. I said, why don't you come out and see the wall? I know they're Vietnam vets, and they're like, I don't know if I can. It'd be too emotional. I mean, we hope you can, but I mean, it's an emotional thing for some, and for others, it just makes, for me, who obviously was not in Vietnam and not in the service, it just makes you think, wow, what these people did for my freedom, so we can come to an air show like this and express, you know, it's just. So yeah, that I encourage everyone to come out and see the wall, and the wall will be there Saturday during the day of the air show. It'll be a little more commotion that day because we got a lot going on Saturday. I mean, the day starts with a veterans breakfast. We'll have an opening ceremony to the air show at 10:30, and then, I mean, to be honest, it's going to get loud. There's a lot. I'm going to have a lot of airplanes flying. We got a jet fire truck coming this year.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
We're excited about that. Aftershock. And we got, you know, for those of you who don't know, the Camdenton Airport went through a huge expansion this last year. We now got 5,000 feet of runway. The last air show was on 4,000. Let me tell you, that makes a big difference, especially for what this jet truck's going to be able to do, that extra 1,000 feet. So,
so you're saying this is probably the most exciting, entertaining air show we've ever had?
I'm going to go with yes.
That's awesome.
It's probably going to be one of the best shows we've ever had. Now, you're going to see a lot of the same acts because we've had since 2011, since we had the show, because quite frankly, they're the best. And I mean, you just got to see Brian Carell at the shootout. I mean, and like I was telling you before, if you liked him at the shootout, you'll love him at the air show, because we got to design an air box. These performers are required to stay in that air box. I mean, they're highly regulated, obviously, air shows with the FAA. And his box is very narrow at the shootout because of the racetrack and the way it's designed. So we give him a little more room and a little more leadway out at the air show, and you can see a lot more of Brian Carell, and you'll get to see him perform with another airplane. Him and Darnell Racing, who's bringing this jet truck, are already talking smack on social media, because, you know, he's going to be, instead of racing a boat, he's going to be racing a jet truck. And I believe, you know, we got Hewlett Chevrolet, one of our main sponsors. He thinks he has a Camaro or something that can run against Brian Carell, so we'll.
Oh boy! And listen, if you have not seen Brian Carell with Brian Carell air shows, here's a little clip from this week's shootout. I was telling you, Corey, he does this maneuver. He goes straight up, and then he turns his engines off, and he just free falls. It's unbelievable. I told you, it kind of makes me nervous, but I would go to the air show just to see Brian Carell, and it's going to be packed with entertainment. And the cool thing is, this is kind of a family event, and it doesn't cost a lot, as far as it's free for the family. The only thing you might pay for is parking, and then of course vendor food and souvenirs, but very affordable and something the whole family can enjoy.
Yeah, that is true. It's $10 to park, and that's just Saturday. And clarified day of the show, Saturday only, it'd be $10 to park. There will be free parking at the middle school, I believe, this year, and they will shuttle you there. And you know, I don't know the time on all the shuttles, but yeah, so if you that is a free option. It is a lot more convenient to park there, and it is $10 per carload. You know, we don't bring a bus. You know, it's $10.
Right.
$10. So And then there's no admission fee, and then we'll have food and drinks sold by our vendors there that'll help support the air show. So no, it's for the most part free. I mean, there is a fee for food and breakfast, and
that's awesome. And then opening ceremony at 10:30, and then of course buckle up, because at 11, that's when all the madness starts. It's going to be crazy. You're going to want to be there with your kiddos. And the last show will get over about 3:30 on Saturday. But hey, if you haven't got an opportunity, you still can see that wall on Sunday. And you guys have a run on Sunday as well, correct?
Yeah, after the air show, come out and run for the Fallen, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Run a mile for a veteran. Last year, a lot of people did 2 or 3. It's great. I mean, I did it. That was an emotional thing.
Wait, you did it? I mean, now I feel like I got to get out there and do it. I'm not a runner anymore. I struggle. I like to run. So you do the run, and you run in honor of a fallen veteran.
You can walk, you can crawl, you can do whatever you want. You know, you just have a mile.
Why'd you look at me when you said crawl? Like, you knew I would probably be crawling. But
I have some people want to drive a 4-wheeler, whatever. We got a mile of level ground, and it's level, awesome. So no hills. So
that's
right
there's
up an advantage
my
there.
alley. And that's like you said, that's an emotional experience, because you think about what these individuals went through, and you've got their bib number and their photo, and you're running in their honor, and you're like, man, this is easy running this mile in comparison to the sacrifice they ultimately gave. And so really it's a weekend to honor our country, honor our veterans, and be greatly entertained. Is there anything else we need to mention? I know you guys have a few of your bigger sponsors you guys want to mention, and then anything else that we should know as we get ready to attend this year's air show?
I mean, like I say, you're going to see a lot of neat warbirds. We're looking at potentially a P-51, maybe 2. I've heard a rumor there might be 2. T-6 coming, Lee Crouch, and Bob Richards coming. But yeah, one thing I got to be clear on, this air show would not happen without sponsors. It would not be free. I mean, you could pay $50 a head if we didn't have these sponsors. So got to thank all the big sponsors. You guys here at Lake TV. The city of Camdenton's been behind this event. If they weren't behind it, it wouldn't happen. Lake of the Ozarks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Camdenton Chamber, any one of those organizations didn't support this event, I can tell you it would not happen.
Right.
So got to thank those. Some of our big sponsors: Central Bank, Hayes Construction, Hedges Scott Funeral Home, Williams Law Firm, and I mentioned Hewlett. Not only are they a sponsor, we're hoping they can give us a run. Give the planes a run for their money. So, you know, again, without our sponsors, the show would not be free and probably would not happen. And there's a whole lot more. I can't mention them all, but go to our website, lakeoftheozarksairshow.com, and thank those sponsors. Do business with those sponsors, because a lot of them support a lot of community events, not just this. And we wouldn't have these events if they didn't step up to the plate. And
you guys have some great support, like you mentioned. And what I love is your guys' website is great. It's super user-friendly, easy to look through. You can find schedule, you can find out how to get involved, where you need to be when, and all of the details. And of course, Corey, big shout out to you and what you guys have done over the last couple of years at the airport out there. Because for us here in Camdenton, Missouri, to have that type of airport that's growing with the new hangar and the new 1,000-foot of runway, it's pretty cool, and it's only going to mean great things for Lake of the Ozarks. So thank you for all you do, my friend.
Well, thank you for all you guys do. Just like I was saying earlier, I love working with locals, having a local TV, and they really care about the lake area. And you're right, the airport has grown thanks to local support. I mean, I see it every day. My numbers are changing a lot from last year.
That's awesome. Well deserved. Well, Corey Lewerke with the Camdenton Memorial Lake Regional Airport out in Camdenton, of course. That's where the air shows happen. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back with more Cup of Coffee at Slumberland at the Lake right after this.
Get ready for the Lake of the Ozarks Air Show on Saturday, September 10th. It's sure to be a fun-filled day with flying, education, and honoring veterans for their service. Breakfast begins at 7:30 and parking with shuttle is available all day long. Don't miss the flying, entertainment, food, vendors, and activity all day at this year's Lake of the Ozarks Air Show. Then check out the Vietnam Wall starting Thursday through Sunday. Visit lakeoftheozarksairshow.com for more info. And we want to thank all our sponsors for making this year's event possible.